Hey everybody, welcome. We are talking today about why you still can't trust Delores. So not only is Delores a liar and a cheat, she's also manipulative. So I'm sure you're wondering, how is our wonderful, lovely, innocent Delores so manipulative? I'll tell you why. Whatever you see on Delores and all of her extended family in whatever store you happen to be in has been chosen at least 6 months prior. Now there are some retailers that, like H&M, they might work a little bit faster. So the lead time may not be a whole 6 months. It may only be 3 to 4. But they have everything forecasted. There are constantly trend departments. There are entire departments of people, teams of people working to decide what it is you're going to want to buy 6 months from now. And this all begins much before that even happens. So let's give you a little background on how the retail industry kind of works and what ends up in stores. There are fashion shows, fashion designers, like, your Balenciaga, Chanel, Versace, the big names. And they create collections. Typically those collections pre-COVID were, spring, fall, resort, autumn, winter kind of a deal. And they would present at fashion weeks twice a year. I believe it was twice a year, but there were also resort shows in between then. Now that COVID has happened, those large community gatherings have kind of been abolished, and people are just kind of, and by people I mean designers, are just kind of releasing their collections as they please. So like what used to be Fashion Week in one place is now like designers in Spain are releasing, as well as designers in Paris and some designers in New York and some in London and LA, all at the same time, rather than everybody converging on New York City to display their collections. So these collections are being released, and this is the creative vision from that brand's designer or designers. Sometimes there are teams of designers. And this comes to fruition through a series of, processes. They have their sketches, they make their samples, then, they hire the models and they show the collection. Once the collection is shown, it's usually to members of the press and media. And of course, you would see your celebrities, and sometimes those overlap: celebrity media, press, celebrities, that kind of a thing. And the other people who are at these shows, because if you've ever seen shots or footage, then there's like large audiences, and you don't know who most of these people are, other than like who's in the coveted front row. And these other people are your buyers and trend forecasters for companies. There are entire companies that do just trend forecasting. They could be color forecasting, it could be print forecasting, it could be fabric forecasting, and they sit in these shows and take notes on everything that they're seeing. And buyers take notes on what they're seeing. Then they go back to their offices and they say, okay, this is what was on the runway for Balenciaga for fall 2021, which fall 2021 is right around the corner, and they are already releasing their collections, or they already have actually. I think now we're looking at like resort and spring for 2022. So the designers and fashion houses are already looking forward to next year. And everything that's happening right now is old news. This was work that they did a year and a half ago, and as far as they're concerned, it is January, February of 2022. That's their next focus. That's the next thing that they need to complete. So what you're seeing in stores right now is a result of what a trend forecaster, a buyer, some personnel with some company saw on a runway or in a lookbook 6 months ago, back in January, and that collection was created by a designer at least 4 to 5, depending on their lead time, 6 months before that. So everything that's in stores now was conceptualized and visualized in somebody's head last fall. Last fall, remember the state that we were in, things are very different and our tastes change very quickly. These are really just guesses that they're making. And with the creative licensing that these fashion designers have, they can do anything with their fabric. And I studied fashion design. I fancied being a fashion designer myself, and I also made dance costumes. So I know what it takes to conceptualize something from in here to right on you here. And the process that it takes to get that from a mental image to a physical item is kind of arduous. And once that happens, so once they have decided what, resonates with their ideal buyer, that would be you, and what they feel is going to be most appropriate in their stores any given time, then these ideas, collections, color stories, silhouette stories are all passed on to buying teams, and buying teams make the decisions, they make things happen. There are entire markets that they can go to. They reach out to their suppliers and they can have things custom made. A lot of places, like department stores especially, if you go into like a Kohl's around here in the United States and you want one of their store brands that is all made by their own in-house designers based on some collection that some trend forecasting department within that company worked on from what they saw at another line sheet or a lookbook or a runway show or some report that from a trend company that they purchased. And so based on the ideal customer that they have, what they think that ideal customer is going to want, and how it's going to feature within their store. So then once these buying decisions are made, those decisions are then put together in a packet of information and passed along to a merchandising team. This is where Delores comes in. This is where they decide what's going to look most appealing, interesting, what's going to grab your attention when you walk by and make you go, ooh, I need that. But do you really? You don't. A lot of times you don't. And that's why I teach my clients to shop targeted with a list and to know the styles that they like, the silhouettes that work best for their body, their colors. It really helps you cut out a lot of the noise. You can go like, a horse with blinders and look for the things that are really important to you, not what some trend forecaster decides looks really good on a mannequin because that color is, all over Instagram right now. And that also is another component is, social media and bloggers. It's difficult to guess what's going to be picked up by influencers and magazines. You never know. But what it is it all boils back down to that original runway collection, those high-end designers where it was seen first. And that's where you'll get knockoffs at places like H&M or Zara. That's not necessarily a bad thing. That's like democratizing fashion, I guess you could say. So there's a lot that goes into making these decisions, and so much of it is psychology and playing on your fear of missing out. Not only are the colors, fabrics, patterns on the fabrics, colors in the patterns on the fabrics, the silhouettes, the items themselves, those are all chosen so far in advance. If you live in a larger city and you know anybody who works for a major retailer and you ask, I will bet you that they say, oh yeah, we've already got things planned through December. And right now it's July. And they are going to be planned all the way through Christmas. They're already thinking about their next set of plans that they need to make for January. They're already in next year. Retail, fashion, and designers are all focusing on next year. What do I do next year? What am I going to put in the store next year? What is my customer going to want? So not only is it a guess as to what you're going to want that they are putting in the stores, they're also tricking you into thinking that it's something new and that you are making this decision all on your own, when really it's just another way that they're using Delores to cleverly manipulate things and create an inviting and exciting atmosphere that's going to get you to walk into this store from off of the street, from, you know, out of the mall corridor, to click on their website when you see their banner ad. It's all psychological warfare, essentially. So, all right, now you know their tricks. How do you fight it? The fighting is simple. First, you have a plan. How do you get that plan? We got to go backwards a little bit. You know your body type, you know the correct silhouettes that work on your body, and you also make sure that you know how to decipher those so that they work best for your body. And by decipher, I mean ways to combine items to create the most balance so that your figure is as pleasing as you want it to be. And also, you want to make sure that you know your style personas. What is a style persona, you ask? Well, I'm happy to tell you. A style persona is what I have termed the different style type that if you just Google what's my style type, you'll probably get a million results of quizzes. You know, take this quiz to find your style type. Are you classic? Are you bohemian? Are you glam? Are you edgy? The truth is, you're probably a little of all of those, or some of them, or a combination of. And that's what I do for my clients, is I take all of that information, we put it together, and I create a guide so that when you walk into a store and Delores has, you know, woven her web of trickery and deceit, and you can just cut her right out. You can look at her, you can acknowledge her. She's like a negative thought, like, oh, I see you, but you don't get to speak. You don't have a say. So don't let Delores have a say in what you need, because she does. She does a lot. In all the years I spent in retail, and that was my primary job, was as a visual manager, merchandiser, their various things. One of my main responsibilities was to dress the mannequins, and I had a million guidelines as to how to do so. If you watched the other video with Don't Trust Delores, then you know that there are a whole playbook of tricks and tips and rigging things like it's some sort of untouchable museum display to make things look the way that we want them to, so that you're basically tricked into thinking it's something it's not. And so having this book at your disposal really is what's going to allow you to cut through the noise and focus on the things that are important to you. So when they put that display up, you can walk in and go, yes, that top resonates with my style personas, and it's got the right type of sleeve and neckline for me, perfect. Or you can go, oh hell no, that is not for me. I do not color block and I do not wear a square neckline. And it's really that simple. It's really that simple. So where do you go from here? From here, you can talk with me, send me a DM, hop on my website. I'm here for you. I'm here to walk you through it. It'll be a great time. So let's find your style persona. Know what it is that you're looking for. So, excuse me, so that Delores isn't foiling your well-laid shopping plans, which I also give you, by the way. Send me a message and let me know, how can I help you cut through the noise that Delores is creating? HamiltonStyling.com/links. You can download some freebies, join that event, and if you're ready to just jump in and figure out what it is your body type, what is it that you need when you're shopping, what are your style personas, how can you mix and match and work with the things you've already got to feel as stylish and fierce as you know you should be, then yes, at the bottom of that page, you can also set up a consultation with me. Beware of the tricks of Delores and her trend forecasting cronies. Okay, till next time, guys. Mind your style.